Well, you got to not kill that. It's got to just be in the catch zone.
I mean, my gut is like hack to board and just roll 3 feet. 2 feet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably just hack.
You're always touching the 6.
I don't know that this leaves the 4 foot with hack.
Really good spots for Miller.
I think John's in a situation where he needs to send one of the red guards back.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, if it's dead nose and just, it's going to go spinning. This actually might catch two and just leak back.
I think it does.
Okay, so it might, close to dead nose.
Hammer something.
Extra focus of the players, because sometimes you just couldn't hear yourself thinking. And
last drop. Yep. 8th in. The time to run. Is it Toronto?
Yep.
Hier, Alex.
Get more of the first two. I just think it's back now to what it was the other day.
Saturday, it is Team Brad Jacobs against Team Mark Muskatewitz. John Cullen here with you, and pleased to be joined by two-time Scotties champion Chelsea Carey. And Chelsea, not only a great matchup on the ice, but maybe a little extra fuel here today, as Brad Jacobs had the first overall pick in the first ever GSOC playoff draft and chose Mark Muskatewitz.
Yeah, I think we were all a little bit surprised by that. Muskatewitz maybe not quite as known as some of the other teams here, but has had a great season, won the European Championship, And it was 3-1 here this week and very easily could have been 4-0. So I think we all expected the #1 draft pick to pick one of the tiebreaker winners, and that's not what happened. So I would think definitely a little bit of extra motivation for Team Muskatewitz. That's what is so great about the draft is all the teams are good, and so you're going to pick a really good team and kind of poke them and taunt them a little bit and fire them up for this game. So it should be fun.
Yeah, it should be an awesome game between these two teams. And I'll tell you, I had a chat with Team Muskatewitz's coach, Ryan Sherrard, who Canadian curling fans may be familiar with, a former Canadian junior champion, has now made his home in Munich for the last 16 years, represented Germany at the Worlds a few times. And yeah, it is... he was telling me that Jacobs is actually kind of like one of their heroes. So they were watching the game, watching the draft last night back at their Airbnb, and said when Jacobs picked them, they jumped about 2 feet in the air, and they were actually super excited to play them. So, you know, it could be added motivation just knowing that you got chosen by the #1 seed, but also added motivation that, you know, they're playing people they've been watching for a long time. I mean, this Muskatewitz team, very young. Mark himself is 27, but the rest of the team, all fresh out of juniors, 21, 22 years old. So when you talk about Brad Jacobs being 39, like, truly they've watched him since they were kids.
No, absolutely. And the thing about this new draft, too, is that for some players, having that first pick and kind of, you know, making somebody a little miffed that you picked them and stuff, that might bother them and it might hinder their performance. Brad Jacobs is the exact opposite of that. He will have picked a team that was a bit of an upset pick on purpose just to fire himself up, and it'll make him play better. So I don't think it'll affect him in a negative way. In fact, I think it'll be a positive for Brad Jacobs. It's just how he rolls. We saw him do it in Newfoundland, be the villain and be the heel and just absolutely eat it up and play incredible. So we know he likes that role, and he's playing it today.
Yeah, no question. I was standing beside Rachel Holman off camera when Brad Jacobs made that pick, and she turned to me and she said, "What is he doing?" Because Muskatewitz, as you said, ranked world #9, Jacobs coming in world #6, so they're only separated by 3 ranking places. And you know, you look at maybe the Epping Dropkin tiebreaker as 2 teams that are a little lower ranked that I think we maybe expected Team Jacobs to pick. And yeah, this Team Muskatewitz has not qualified in an event this season. They've played in 9 events, and they've qualified in all of them. And as you mentioned earlier, winning the European Championships, the first time that Germany has won the Euros in over 20 years. So yeah, they're definitely a really good team, and regardless of what Brad Jacobs knows about them or not, this is going to be a really good game here, and a great start for both leads, corner guard and center guard up, and rocks around.
The rock did, for sure. However,
this Team Muskatewitz is out of Füssen, Germany. The skip is Mark Muskatewitz. The third is Benny Kapp. The second throwing right now is Felix Messenziel, and the lead is Johannes Scheuel.
And I wasn't sweeping when he was, because I thought we were all there.
Felix looking to throw the second center guard here. And I like, this is something you'll see, Chelsea. I don't know how much you've seen of Muskatewitz so far this year, but they like rocks in play. They're not afraid of having to make the big or tough shots.
Yeah, I haven't seen them a ton, but I've been very impressed. There's no fear there for such a young team at all, and you can't have any. But often you'll see a team like that play against a team like this and think, okay, well, you know, if the first end is a little bit more open, that wouldn't be so bad for us. But Muskatewitz going right, and not having the hammer, too. And Muskatewitz, no hesitation, going right after Brad Jacobs right from the get-go here. I love to see that.
Shooter.
So Brett Gallant looking for the double peel there, but won't find it. This Team Jacobs lineup, very familiar to curling fans in Canada and across the world. They are curling out of Calgary, Alberta. Skip is Brad Jacobs, third Mark Kennedy, second Brett Gallant, and lead Ben Hebert. And so with Brett driving that by, we're going to see Muskatewitz put the center guard back. And yeah, I agree with you, Chelsea. I think, you know, I really was obviously paying attention to how well they were doing. I watched a little bit of the European Championships, and I had heard from European teams specifically about how good they thought this Muskatewitz team was. And then getting to see them for the first time in St. John's, and just getting to experience them. I called a couple of their games, and I was like, oh, they're actually
yeah, they're legit. I don't think we're gonna see any less of them anytime soon. They're so young and they're already so good. They're gonna be around making noise at Grand Slam events for a very long time. I think you'll find.
Yes.
Yeah, no question. They're back-to-back World Junior silver medalists are Benny, Felix, and Johannes. They lost the final to Craik in 2022, another name that would be familiar to G-Sock fans, and then to China and Fei last year, 2023. And so, yeah, they're kind of just brand new to the men's ranks, but yeah, like you said, Chelsea, not afraid at all. Love to mix it up, and it's going to be a good game here. That's a really nice shot from Brett Gallant.
That's a good shot.
Crowd's impressed too.
Yeah, makes a really nice
Tough shot.
down weight shot to just hit and roll behind those corner guards. Very nice.
Nice weight. 12-1.
Would like to be 1-2 and aren't, but still a really good situation because that yellow rock is so lost behind the mess there. That gotta love that with the hammer.
Does look like they're chasing it though.
Yeah, I guess it should curl enough. I think it's overburied. I'm not sure. We're on the far side of the arena here, so it's a little bit hard to tell. But they obviously think they can get there. We have seen it's not quite as swingy as maybe what we would normally see at a Grand Slam, but plenty of curl to make just about everything you could want to make.
Easy.
So Felix Messenziel trying to bring this one over.
He's going to really need to in a hurry. It's going to touch it, I think.
Get that out of there. Okay.
That's an error.
Yeah, Red is shot rock right now, I think, but they're in jail big time now with that. That yellow for sure now is not chaseable. It's all the way gone under there.
Yeah, and this is just an open hit to lie 3 here from Mark Kennedy.
I watched Benny Cap throw one out here, and he got a little bit of
I gotta think it'll be a little gradual. Should get some.
He got a little bit of curl, but I nailed the weight. You can
The
manage
thing too is it looks like the natural shot here would be to freeze on that, or to draw around those yellow guards, and you don't even need to freeze to that back one, but just be buried over there. But it's a hard draw because of that hole's not that big, so you might have to switch to drawing around the centers, which is just terrifying when you don't have the hammer and the other team's sitting 3.
Yep. Yes.
Brett Gallant on this right out of the hand. They want it on the nose. You don't want to roll too far here.
Great sweep, Brett. Great sweep.
And you heard Brad Jacobs say a really good sweep there from Brett Gallant. We saw a lot of him sweeping at the mixed doubles trials, which him and his partner both in curling and in life, Jocelyn Peterman, winning that, and will have the opportunity to represent Canada at the Olympics pending how well they finish at the Worlds coming up in Fredericton in a few months. But yeah, one of the best sweepers in the game, and you get to see it early there from Brett.
If he ever rolls out, we got to make a good draw.
Going pretty aggressive for the roll here, Chelsea.
Yeah, you don't want to roll out, but it's not a situation where you can afford to not go aggressive just because they're sitting 3 back here. So trying to get this one to curl over enough.
It's pretty close from Benny, but I think that'll certainly be chaseable for Mark.
I think it's probably just open.
10.5.
Well, it's a little piece covered probably, but yeah.
I like
All
this.
from the left-hander's hack too. Mark to be able to see a little more.
Mark has the better angle.
I'll give you the right weight here. You can manage it good.
Yeah, if he can ever make this kind of roll away into the back 12, Muskatewitz is going to have to make a decision.
Whoa.
Clean.
Whoa. Curl.
Clean. Clean. Straight. Hard. 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 Okay. Good sweep.
So no roll. Didn't get by that center guard by much, actually.
Yeah, it was, I think, a little more buried than it initially looked.
A little panic. It was hanging out
he's just
there.
going to draw. I love it.
Genau buried.
Sorry, Cupsy.
It's okay. Das von dem Weißer 4 Fuß.
Yeah, the problem with the hit and roll is that no matter how good you make it, I think it's chaseable.
It's funny though.
Dann haben wir einen zweiten und
So I'd just be
My bad.
frightened of
I know.
having to make a good draw when the other team's lying 3.
It's a scary. The problem is you can't really afford to give Brad Jacobs 3, but in trying not to give him 3, you might give him 4.
You just seem to be hanging and everything all week. Nothing's finished.
Yeah, that really great shot from Brett Gallant earlier setting this up, and Muskatewitz in a ton of trouble here.
Yeah. And then it rolls a little bit of a decision time for him because,
big time.
I mean, I don't know. I think that, he'd have to put it in a spot where it's not chaseable with the out.
Ja, es bringt halt nichts, weil der Spieler wollte mit Backline nach und bleibt dann liegen.
You can hear Brad talking to Mark like he thinks this draw is so tough because there's almost nowhere he thinks they can put it that isn't chaseable.
Yeah, I think your only chance would be to overcurl those 2 guards out the other side so that at least it cues up the jam on that back 4-foot yellow.
So it looks like they've decided not to play the draw, and they are going to go after the shot stone, try to roll behind. But like you said, Chelsea, I think no matter where they roll here, it will be chaseable.
So if he rolls under, his best roll is probably...
Well, a big shot early here for Mark Muskatewitz.
Still think it curls so much that we can get
Needs to make a hit and roll.
Chase where we can roll almost back to there or over there.
I almost wanted to over curl a little here. You roll right here, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Lead.
Whoa.
Lead.
Whoa.
Yep. Close.
Whoa.
Yep.
Let me know here.
Yep. Yep.
Whoa.
Yes, Mark. Yes, Mark.
And that's pretty darn good, I think, from Mark Muskatewitz.
Yeah, pretty close. It probably showed a little bit on the intern side, but at least you're making Team Jacobs play the other turn. Although this is very similar to the path that Brett Gallant threw to make his, so they'll know what they should do.
I think you can probably throw your halfway to maybe even roll like
the good news for Team Muskatewitz, though, is that if he makes it and he doesn't roll all the way behind the corner guard, it might leave you a double on those 2.
Brad, I got a 12-2 on Brett.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be your way to only give up 2 here.
Right.
And I think if you're Mark Muskatewitz, you'd take that deal right now.
It'd be a start the car situation.
12.5.
We got 2 tied up in the trunk.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He'd be clipping his heels, sliding down the sheet if he only gave up 2 after this.
Close to what you had, Brett.
Still a shot that has to be made here for Brad Jacobs. If you ever click a guard, you're actually looking at giving up a steal. So this is a big shot back, chasing with the other turn, his first here in the first.
Clean!
Yep!
Yep!
Whoa! Whoa!
Clean! Clean! Clean!
Yep.
Clean it!
Whoa!
Clean!
Curl! Curl!
Curl, 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 curl. No roll, no roll, no roll, no roll. Good sweep, guys.
And so that will roll again behind the corner. Jacobs lies 3, but maybe there's a way to get out of it here for Muskatewitz now.
Yeah, I was talking earlier about that hole being difficult, and it is, but I don't think they have a choice but to throw it now. And if you can get it in there, I don't know how you get it out for Brad Jacobs.
It might be a chance to force.
I
Of course, if you don't navigate this port, you're bringing 4 into play.
I was worried Ben would be able to do too much.
I almost don't even hate the overroll for Brad there. You know, it kind of baits Muskatewitz into a shot they haven't really thrown, does bring 4 into play. Yes, if he makes this, you're probably only giving up 1, but, you know, I don't mind it.
3 or 4.
Yeah, if you leave it open, you're going to have a shot for 2, but it might only be for 2. So this way you bring a bigger end into play by rolling it over there.
So it looks like they agree with you, Chelsea. They don't want to play that port, and they're just going to come around the middle here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I still think through the port, even though it's difficult. I think it might be the shot. It's just hard to put it in a place where they can't chase it. But he doesn't need to go deep. So I would imagine trying to leave this one more like top 8 foot, just buried, because the higher it is, the harder the chase becomes for Brad Jacobs.
I hope he's deeper.
Die Spur kennen wir besser als die daraus. Weil seiner ist ziemlich abgebogen.
Yeah, then we'll have to draw for 1.
Huge shot here for Mark Muskatewitz. Has to put this in a position where Brad Jacobs can't chase it. If he can, he might be giving up 4, final stone.
4 ist auch schon gut. Weißer 8 Fuß.
Nur Länge, Jungs.
Immer Jojo, straight.
Bisschen Platz.
Oh, nur Länge. Nur Länge.
Yep.
Die ist gut.
Yep. Cut.
15-5.
This is close.
Cut. Hard. Cut.
You don't need to be too deep here, but you do have to get it buried. Oh, that's shot.
I think we can probably get that right through here.
Yeah, I think you can too. You just didn't
you
quite
think?
get that buried.
100%.
Lost it a little bit on the sweep.
Yeah,
There is a jam risk here. Sorry, Chelsea.
It's okay. Weight was close. Like it doesn't need to be any deeper than that if it was buried, but
Right
it just
there with
needed to
12 and a
get
half.
tucked a little bit more. If they could have dragged that another foot, it probably would have been
Right through
pretty
that
much
hole.
perfect. But as it stands, this is not easy, but it's there for Brad Jacobs to not
same way.
jam and walk away with a big 4 in the first end.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, even threes in play here too. You could click your back yellow, but still roll out, roll through, and score a big end. But this is no picnic. This is not easy. We had a look at it from the long view. Brad can't see all of this from the hack, and there is a delicate jam situation over in the corner. So big shot here, a potential 4 on the board for Brad Jacobs, but needs to navigate the hole. Final stone.
Yep.
Clean. Clean.
Yep. Whoa.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. Whoa.
Clean. Clean.
Clean.
Clean.
Curl. Curl. Whoa.
Curl.
Ben Hebert trying to bring it over now. You got the red. Does it go through the hole? Yes, it does. What a shot from Brad Jacobs. Impeccable touch. Great finish from Ben Hebert on the sweep. And they put 4 on the board. It's going to be a long way back for the Germans. We'll be back after this.
Green line call.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
Out on this sheet.
Hey, Ben.
I know.
I want to see this.
It's his.
Well, Chelsea, some people say never meet your heroes. I don't know if Mark Muskatewitz is regretting meeting Brad Jacobs out here on the ice, but what a start for Brad Jacobs. And really, it all started with that great shot from Brett Gallant.
Yeah, a really great shot by Brett Gallant, and then a slight miss on a similar shot for Team Muskatewitz, and then they were just chasing the whole time after that. Rocks just ended up dead buried around those double corners. That's why you throw those double corners. And then if Mark Muskatewicz's last rock goes any further, I think it's pretty good, and just didn't quite sweep it far enough. Lost it a little bit on the weight. It came off on them a little bit by the look of it, and still left Brad with a really tough shot, but Brad Jacobs doing Brad Jacobs things. He makes no mistake, and they put a huge 4 on the board early.
Yeah, one of those shots, we say it from the booth so often, but really, you know, one of those shots that he makes look so easy. And that really wasn't. There was lots of ways you could jam that. You had to bring the center guards into play because you had to get close enough to them to get to that shot stone, and throwing just the perfect amount of weight to get the rock out of the house too. Didn't overthrow it. And that's something that Brad Jacobs has been so good at for so long, as this is really unfortunate for Johannes Scheuer, as that will slide into the house. But yeah, Brad Jacobs so good at taking his opportunities. The crowd enjoying a draw to the button there from Matt Dunstone for his single against Corey Dropkin. And yeah, just a reminder, we do have 3 other games out here. Yannick Schwaller is facing off against Bruce Mallett. Bruce is currently in the process of an open draw for 3, so that's going to be a long way back for Yannick Schwaller if he makes that. Ross White is playing Nicholas Adine. They blanked the first end. That's 0-0. White with the hammer in the second. And as we said, Matt Dunstone drawing for 1 against the Americans and Corey Dropkin. So Matt leads that one 1-0. All the games available on Home Team Live. And if you're in Canada, you can watch Around the Rings coverage on Sportsnet and Sportsnet Plus.
Yeah. No, that's a straight spot. I think that's why he was worried.
2D8 first.
comes down a bit.
Ines gut.
Okay, we're used to that now.
You got like rating here. You know what? Can even be deeper. I like deeper right here. D-line? Yeah, just past this, like top button. Okay.
Well, this is not ideal for Team Muskatewitz here, Chelsea. Obviously sliding that guard into the house, and now Brett Gallant has a chance to draw in a third counter, I should say.
You're going way out on a limb with that one, hey?
Wow. No, I just sounded like someone who's never curled before. Yeah, it's like the third point in there, you know.
Yeah, no, it's you're already in a pretty desperate situation, and then that first guard going in the house, it really makes it tough to even generate a 2 here, which is, I would suggest, the minimum that Team Muskatewitz needs right now.
Killed a little early on, sorry, nice wave.
Wow, going for a freeze here.
Yeah, trying to, if you do freeze this properly a little bit on the high side or the center line side as we look at it, I don't think you'll be able to remove it because it'll dead jam on that top 4-foot center line yellow. That's what they're trying to set up here, but it's needs to be a pretty perfect freeze for that to be true.
Oh, God, no. He's a little heavy here. I got a 14-7.
Yeah, this one's going to bounce off a little bit. You heard Mark say 14-7. The ice conditions have been pretty great all week. Certainly draw weight has been incredibly quick, and it doesn't seem to get too... often in arenas, you'll see the end parts of a game. It'll start to fudge and come down, and we've seen that a little bit, but pretty minimal. So that gives it gives all the players the confidence to throw a draw at any point in the game, in any spot on the sheet, and have it be a pretty similar speed, which is kind of all you're asking for as a player. Just make it consistent for us, and we'll give you some good shot making. And so we have seen that all week here.
So, I was going to say, you could see them take the corner guard here, and they were actually chasing the one in the house, but they do end up taking the corner guard and one of their own. So that's actually a bit of an unfortunate miss there for Team Jacobs. Kind of gets things going here a little bit for Muskatewitz.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it could have been, though, because he did lose the corner guard, and so a little bit lucky there for Brett. And they also wouldn't mind losing that one. That one in the top of the 4-foot was going to hurt them with this freeze situation that's set up here. So ended up not bad for what was pretty much a missed shot, but for Muskatewitz, just you've got a little bit of life here. There's a sliver of hope. Just keep guarding this for a little while, and hopefully they can at least get their deuce out of this.
Guard going up here for Felix Messenziel. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think we'll see a peel here.
Yeah, I think you'll see a steady diet of this for the next few shots.
Yeah.
Guard peel, guard peel.
Especially with Jacobs being shot, there's no rush for them to chase that situation in the house. I think Muskatewitz also likes the situation in the house, so I agree with you, Chelsea.
Clean! Clean! Good.
Just a reminder, there are still tickets available for the weekend. If you're listening to this at home and you're thinking, geez, I'd like something to do on my Saturday night, or maybe catch the finals tomorrow, there are still limited tickets available. Head on over to Ticketmaster.ca or theGrandSlamOfCurling.com.
We're Sean right now. He's going to have to make the hit and roll away. Might still be able to work him for a double here on cutsies. Oh. Okay, and then we hit roll ace at 2. I just thought he might try this at 2, but no, you're right. You're right.
2 ist super.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if you're ever giving this run a go, if you go all the way there again.
So here Mark and Ben just discussing if they would ever want to take the run on. I don't think you need to.
I'm okay with that.
I don't think you need to either, and if you do take the run on, you're leaving a guard anyway. So I mean, at least it would be your own guard you'd be running in, I guess. But if Muskatewitz made a good draw, you'd have to make that run back. I don't think, certainly not yet, that there's any need to throw the run back. I think straight field plays as good or better, and it's an easier shot.
Girl, clean, guys, just clean. Nice throw, Mark.
So indeed, just the peel again for Mark Kennedy, and we'll see what Mark Muskatewitz decides to do here. Only 3 rocks left for the Germans. And he is going to go with a guard again here for Benny Cap.
Oh, I'm surprised he's still guarding. Okay, well.
You heard Mark say he's maybe a little surprised that he's still guarding here.
I think he's going to nose that on his first one.
That would be smart of him.
And then you've got to make a really good hit and roll to sit 2.
Yep.
He might play the red to sit 2, but I don't know. Doing anything other than peeling? I'm not sure.
I don't think we are. I think we have to peel.
Unless he leaves you a pick on it, Brad, that would be the only.
Mark and Brad doing our jobs for us.
Yeah, exactly. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I love when they do that.
Yep.
That one is tighter, so if you were going to run it, this is the guard to run. It's a little bit tighter, but I don't think that they will.
Well, we thought about it even on mine as an option.
Is it? What's the worst case scenario?
Well, you just can't hit anywhere high side. But it's a really tough double jam. We're thinking just a millimeter low.
You like this?
Just a sliver low. I'm game, Brad.
They are going to do it.
You like this?
Hey, does this run as straight as
I don't mind it as long as you, it's just about missing it the right way. As long as you don't hit this a sliver high and jam them both reds, then there's not a lot of risk to it. If you, I guess if you crossed it too far and picked your own at the back, it wouldn't be great because then you'd leave a guard. But I still don't think they're in much danger of giving up more than 2. So this is your opportunity to maybe force. If you make this and pick it, you're probably hoping to take your own rock with it if you could, because otherwise they're just going to throw a freeze because your shooter's going to stay really close to where that guard is now if this is made properly. Brad Jacobs so accurate at these, and that would be part of, as is Mark Kennedy, and that would be part of why they're considering it. You better be close on this one, or it could be trouble. But they have all the confidence that they'll be close, as they should.
Whoa! Clean! Curl!
Well, we'll see how close they are.
Curl! Clean! Clean!
That was probably the worst case scenario.
Yeah, probably.
You leave your guard there, and you leave Muskatewitz as shot.
Sorry, Mark. I just kicked a hair high, and then it was like, not where I want to be.
And that's almost fully buried to that redstone. Like, they're not out of the woods for giving up 3 here.
No, and I think, yeah, that's a hard chase. The problem though is that if you go around that guard again and your own rock again for Mark Muskatewitz, then you're grouping them together. So Brad has to make a run double, but he also has to throw a run double, and he might make it, and then it all goes away. So going to the other side here, and you're still going to force him to make some kind of run back in all likelihood if you get this one buried.
So using that yellow stone in the top 8 as a guard, which, Chelsea, I know you love the in-house guard. So
it's a sneaky play with the hammer, and I think that it's something that you see at this level. People use it, but even at this level, probably not as often as it could be used, and certainly not. I think it's a good kind of a teaching moment for young players. It's a weapon that you have that if you have this much curl on the ice, you can use that. It is a guard for you. So play those come-arounds rather than trying a freeze. If you're playing against teams like this, freezes have to be so perfect, and even if they are, they can be blasted. So this way gives you another option, but this is going to need to slow down in a hurry here.
Yeah, this looks like a gun. You have to be second shot here, and unfortunately they won't be. So
I like this one for sure.
Hasn't been as sharp as we're used to seeing Mark Muskatewitz be this morning so far.
Give me that same sort of
That was
thing,
a
Mark.
really good opportunity, and now if Brad can stick this,
little inside nose.
Muskatewitz is going to be forced, but there is a lot of room where Brad could roll and Muskatewitz would still have a shot for 2. So you heard Brad say to Mark that he thought last time he slid a little high, which is wide. So similar shot here, and we'll see if he can make the correction. It's final stone for Brad Jacobs here in the second.
Whoa. Whoa. Curl. 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 Curl.
Curl all the way. They have it, but they will not stick. And so Mark Muskatewitz will have a hit for two.
I really liked that throw, and that still went back.
Good sweep.
So you heard Brad say did like that throw, but they think maybe that spot is a little straight.
Good try. Yeah, good throw.
I thought that.
Oh man, is that straight there?
Yeah,
that's straight. That's straight. Nice throw. That's that good. I thought we had a chance even halfway.
So did I.
I haven't done a bunch of games on this sheet, but even just from watching while we're doing other games, I did wonder if it curled maybe a little bit more towards the crowd side, which would make that turn, that shot that he just threw, probably the straightest spot on the sheet. You often see that both in curling clubs and in arenas, that there's just a tiny little bit of a slant towards what in a curling club would be the wall, and in this case would be the crowd.
So final stone for Mark Muskatewitz. Looking for two. Needs to get a little bit inside this yellow stone. Now needs to stick around. Oh, needs to stick around. And he will just stick in the 12-foot. So two back for Mark Muskatewitz. Jacobs will have a 2-point lead in the hammer in the third.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. Come as you are, and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
If he's not ready, then you're gonna go, what turn do you like? Just good. Out turn, top four.
They did just that, so really nice start for the team from Fusen. But they will have to be sharp the rest of the game here. Don't want to give up any more than one here. I think if you give up two, you're already starting to feel like the scoreboard's against you.
Yeah, you don't. That's one of the things when you, if you're gonna give up a four, obviously the first end is the time to do it, and then not trying to get it all back at once is kind of the key there. So all you need to do is deuce, force, which sounds reasonable, but the problem is it's Brad Jacobs, and he's not going to cooperate very well with you if he has a choice. So really looking for the force here, though, to your point. If you it undoes your deuce if they get a deuce right back. Probably you'll see two center guards here from Mark Muskatewitz. Playing pretty aggressively for that force.
We're gonna play the freeze here. Mark Muskatewitz taking a quick bathroom break, looks like here. So we've got Benny Cap in the house.
Great shot.
We got the split center. Green side.
Yeah, just thinking for later on.
We do have the fourth installment of the Grand Slam of Karaoke tonight as well here in Guelph. Even if you're not at the WFG Masters, you can still attend. It's going to be at the Delta Hotel in the Conference Center. Things getting set up now as we speak. The top prize has increased to $2,500 for the winning curler. And of course, they get the bragging rights and the GSOK belt. We have yet to see a champion defend. We'll see if Rachel Homan can do so tonight. If you have a WFG Masters ticket, it's $5 to get in. You can get your tickets at the Rock Shop if you're here on site at the Sleeman Center, or $10 if you don't have a ticket to the WFG Masters. You can still come on down and enjoy the fun. It's been a great addition to the Grand Slam of Curling calendar. You will not want to miss it.
And if you are coming to the game tonight, I think they're actually running a shuttle between here and the hotel.
Yes.
So hop on that, and you don't have to worry about driving or parking or anything. It's a great setup. And yeah, GSOK is quickly becoming everyone's favorite night of the Slam. It's been so much fun to see a different side of some of the curlers, and some of the talent is insane.
Nice. Shot.
Yeah, okay.
I thought you had very similar. That's the difference in the rock. I'm glad we didn't carve it. This finish is nice. I think we're safe here to just straight one peel. We're shot.
Es war auch zu wenig Eis, weil...
Better on the line, pal.
Ja, ich weiß, aber wir haben Jojo...
So with the double center up now, we are going to see Brett Gallant peel.
Ja, ich sag ja nicht, ich sag nur das Minimum.
Looks like they're looking for the double here. No, just the single, sorry. They're on the furthest sheet from us, so not always easy to see the angle that the rock's coming down the sheet.
The old flash blank on D. Fuck. Nice throw, Brett.
Mark Kennedy noticing that Corey Dropkin flashed his blank attempt in the second end. Matt Dunstone got a steal of one.
He actually crashed a guard.
Oh,
so
crashed
that's
a
not
guard,
quite
okay.
accurate, but
Gotcha, okay.
same result though.
Nice. I didn't see it. I was just utilizing Mark.
Yeah, no, it wasn't you who had the wrong info. It was Mark.
That's
right. Did you ever want to try that, Brett? Did you ever want to?
No.
Clean. Clean.
I'm actually not sure if the double peel helps us.
No, we're good.
So you heard Mark say the double peel he doesn't think actually helps them right now, so they're happy to just keep peeling off these high centers. We'll see if Mark Muskatewitz makes a play in the house. Jacobs is shot, so he's going to have to do something eventually.
Let's let our boys figure it out. I actually don't know if the double peel really helps us. True.
No, I
Hey,
know.
we'll let our boys figure it out.
So.
Yo-yo! Yo-yo! Yo-yo!
Really good sniff. I wouldn't call that one a good sniff. Agreed.
Let's get car. Let's get car.
One thing I'd prefer is
So another high center here, and we'll see if Team Jacobs is content to just continue peeling them off.
Is it a high center though? If you bring these two close together, I think they will probably try the double peel, but we'll see. Mark thinking it doesn't help them. And I see what he's saying.
Das Gute ist, diese liegen so verwinkelt.
You like just a straight one? Yeah.
Yeah, so if you the reason behind this, the reason that Mark is saying that the double peel doesn't help them is they don't want to leave both guards there and leave Muskatewitz a chance at creating a steal or a big end here. But if you peel both guards, like right now it's hard for Mark Muskatewitz to make a play on that red rock. If you peel both guards, he can use that top yellow to make a play on it.
Yep.
So that's why they're thinking it doesn't help them, and I do agree. So just the single peel here, even though the
almost made the double peel by accident.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, a little soft.
Just getting a little tight there on the slide, I think, from Mark.
Es ist weniger als eben. Es ist weniger als eben.
Ich verstehe nichts, was? Eins. Ist gut. Ist gut. Bisschen Curl. Linie kommt gut. Clean. Sicher drüber. Okay, Linie ist gut. Curl. Hard.
So yet another high center, and
What? If that guard's gone,
we'll see what they decide to do here.
what can he do that's good if that top guard's gone? Let him run, I think, no?
Yeah, like Brad Jacobs still has the whole forefoot to draw to for a second point right now, so he doesn't seem too eager to maybe set something up for Mark Muskatewitz in the house.
Well, I do too.
That was a pretty quick discussion. They still seem to like leaving the situation in the house as is.
I think I do too. To Brad's point, if they peel this guard, what can Muskatewitz do that's any good? He freezes on his own, you're going to be able to kill at least one of them easily. And worst case scenario, his rock stays top 4 foot. You can't really draw around the whole pile because that yellow rock has a piece of the button, so there's not a lot of room for him to do that. He might have to run this guard in. So he's going to try to go around. It is possible. It looks pretty ugly, and it's a very precise spot. Because for you to get buried here, to have any chance to be even partially buried, you have to be back button. But you better hang on to enough of the button to be shot rock as well.
Yeah, this is that aggressiveness that we see out of Mark Muskatewitz. He's just not afraid to leave himself a really difficult shot, which is basically what he's done here, having Felix and Benny just throw guards in front of him. Now going to make the really tough draw here, or at least try to. This is really curling. Oh, and they just rub. Perfect weight. Does it roll in for shot, though? It does. So, not ideal result, but will make Brad Jacobs have to deal with it.
Good pick it, yeah.
Yeah, if they got it by, it might have been perfect.
He'll probably make it better on the next one. Okay. Yeah, he'd be half open. We'd be scoring. I'm just wondering if
that's
it's hard.
A hard shot to make.
It's death. Okay. Yep. No,
I think pick is really the only option here, Chelsea. I'd be really scared of trying to get inside of that.
Well, you don't even need to get inside. You need to get to nose. But if you roll high side, it's no good. Because you give him maybe a hit and roll that maybe is the only way he could get perfectly buried in this spot. And if you're ever tight, it's a disaster because you clip that red and you kill your own yellow and you roll away and you leave them sitting 2 all of a sudden. So Mark's saying he'll just make it better, which he probably will, but I still think this is the call.
Clean,
yep.
Clean.
So just a pick here for Brad Jacobs.
Nice throw, Brad. Really nice.
And he'll make no mistake there. So we'll see if Mark Muskatewitz can make the draw, or maybe there's something else he sees. Looks like he is maybe eyeing up the other turn now, which I find a little bit curious. No, they're going to go back to that. I was going to say.
Yeah, the other turn looks terrible.
Looks harder, and you haven't thrown it.
And the result, I don't even think is as good.
Yeah.
He can do kind of the same everything. They just need to sweep it a little bit different to get it by. If they got that by, I think it would have been perfect. So I have to think he'll be close on this one.
You had the hack waiter here in the first, remember? I just missed the carb early.
His weight was pretty close on his last day. It was back 4.
It was perfect, yeah.
So final stone for Mark Muskatewitz. Trying to draw around these rocks in the 4 foot, get a big enough piece of the button.
Fine card.
Messenziel and Scheuel leaning on it.
Bye.
Will it stop? Oh, really good try, but I do think Jacobs is shot. Tough to tell from our overhead, though.
Yeah, it's close. It does look yellow from the overhead, but...
touch it. Yeah. So we're throwing T-line. Listen, so he threw that. I thought he threw that relatively soft right here. Like, I'm thinking we're throwing a T-line draw, and when we have the right line, we're doing it. How does that look? It's a little less than him. You think that's max?
I do.
Okay. give me a little, yep.
So Brad, analyzing the release of Mark Muskatewitz there, thought that maybe he was a hair soft, which typically that would mean you'd get a little bit more curl if that were the case.
It's taking a little less ice. The key here is you're throwing a draw, and then once the line's right, you got two of the best sweepers in the world, and they can carry it that inch or two further that it he barely needs to touch it. They might already be sitting one, so he doesn't need to move it very far. So just you really have to be thinking draw in your head if you're Brad Jacobs right now, and then let the sweepers make the shot for you.
Well, go ahead.
Last rock, third end.
Wait on. Yep.
Brad Jacobs trying to score two here.
Room. We got room.
Brett's rock. Brett's rock.
Weight looks close. It's just about getting the line right here.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
And it just won't curl enough. Unfortunately, Ben Hebert leaning on it a little bit too hard there. Could not get to that red stone, but they move it far enough, so it's one for Brad Jacobs, but mission accomplished for Mark Muskatewitz with the force. We'll see what they can do when we come back.
I don't know.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a gold line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a gold line.
And is the choice of champions.
Well, Chelsea, it is 5-2 on the scoreboard for Brad Jacobs, but all things considered, Mark Muskatewitz has to be fairly happy with how the last two ends have gone. He gets two in the second and a really good force in the third with a tricky draw on his last one that Brad Jacobs just could not match.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously the four is less than ideal and a huge hole to climb out of, but they've played really well since then and gotten a few small misses, uncharacteristic misses out of Team Jacobs. Not just Brad, but Brett Glatt clipping a guard on a pick attempt in the second end, and then Brad Jacobs slight miscue on his run back. So there's the window has it's still open a crack for there to be a little bit of hope even after the four in the first end, which that could have very easily been slammed shut here and hasn't been. So for Muskatewitz, you have to be happy with that, and you're gonna have to keep making those precise shots like they have been. But yeah, pretty as good as you could hope for after giving up a four in the first end, I'd say.
Yeah, we'll see if they can keep it going here. Definitely didn't seem to get discouraged with giving up that initial four. Got themselves right back on top of it. We'll see what Brad Jacobs can do here without the hammer. Putting the first one in, and now Ben Hebert, I think, will be bringing another one in the house, or guard, not sure. Okay, just guard, I think.
Yeah, always mark. Yep, hit it if you can. Line's good. Line's good.
A little light if anything.
Line's good. Great throw, Ben. Good boy. 15-3.
So slides into the top 12, which sounds like that's exactly where they wanted it. And we're going to see another corner guard up here for Johannes Scheuel. This will be on the other side, it looks like, not double cornering here.
Listen, Felix. Listen, Felix.
What do you like, Chelsea? I know there's a bit of a division of school of thought in terms of whether the double corner or the split corners are better. Do you have a preference?
I've tended to throw double corners just because it's hard not to take away both of your draws if you throw the corners on both sides, and you still need a path to the forefoot. But depending on the scoreboard, I think that the two split guards is probably going to give you a better chance for a three or something like that, but you have to be careful about the placement of them. Most of the men, I think, go opposite sides.
Just slightly past.
And that's probably the other thing that's a factor is if you stack them on the same side, they have to be pretty perfect to not leave a double peel. If they're split across the sheet, it makes it a little bit tougher.
Well, we'll see how it plays out here. Brett Gallant throwing the center guard up now. I heard top 8, so maybe they are bringing this one in as well. So maybe a 3-point lead call here, bringing their third rock in.
Yeah, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Oh, they're playing a little choke.
That's good, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think often, and again, this you see this more in the men's side than the women's. A lot of the women would throw a guard on that, a tight guard. But I've seen a bunch of the men switch to this idea of choking one of the 2 corner guards rather than, you don't really want guards if you're Brad Jacobs. So in a lot of ways it makes sense. It's just that the choke is a pretty precise rock placement. That's the downside to it. But if you make it, it's really good.
So Jacobs lying 3, just having a debate about how best to get themselves into a scoring position. Looks like they're going to hit the top stone, try to roll onto the one that is choking. And Corey Dropkin making a draw for 2 to tie up his game with Matt Dunstone at 2. Dunstone will have the hammer in 4. All 4 quarterfinal games available here on Home Team Live. Sorry, Chelsea.
That's okay. I was just going to say that's a good battle over there on D. Dunstone was in all kinds of trouble in the first end. Corey had him dead to rights, but he drew the side of the button, and then Corey had a blank attempt on his last in the second end that would have played really to his favor significantly, but unfortunately wrecked on a guard, but then took 2 right back. So the young Americans, the young Bucks, are playing well this morning. They're coming off a tiebreaker win. So sometimes, you know, the day looks a bit daunting when you're in the tiebreakers because those go at 7:30 and then you got to go straight back on the ice for the quarters. But you also then come in with some momentum because you just won. You know the ice. Sometimes it's a little different from day to day, so you know it better than the other team, and there can be an advantage to that.
Brett Gallant looking for the double peel. It was very thick. Does not get it, but does get the single. Jacob still lies 3. And yeah, you're right, Chelsea. I think especially with an early game, you know, you can kind of wake yourself up a little bit. I know 11 a.m. also sounds, you know, like a little late, but sometimes that sleep in can hurt you a little bit.
It can, potentially.
You sleep in till 9 or so, and
you're a little lethargic.
Yeah, it takes you a little bit to get the body going. Whereas Drop get up bright and early and had a good game under their belts. They beat John Epping this morning 8-5.
Went after it in the first.
To find themselves into this quarterfinal. It's Dropkin's first Slam quarterfinal appearance of the season. It's really been a seesaw battle all year between him and John Schuster for which American men's team is ranked higher, and it's going to be fascinating to watch at the U.S. Nationals, which are coming up in just 2 weeks from now, to see if Corey can finally get over the hump and beat John Schuster, who seems to be the best curler in the world every year at the U.S. Nationals.
Yeah, Corey's been knocking on the door for a long time. Did actually win 1 U.S. men's national, but it was when John Schuster wasn't there because of the Olympics. So would definitely like to take him down and has been so close to doing that so many times. Eventually it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time, but it can be really frustrating. As somebody who grew up banging my head against the wall trying to beat Jennifer Jones in Manitoba, I know exactly what he feels like. Yeah.
Board.
So with 2 Muskatewitz counters in the rings, even though Jacobs is still lying 3, we are going to see Mark Kennedy hit this one in the back ring.
Ja, solange wir auf den Hit and Roll gehen. Und wenn dann eher zu dünn sind und zu weit laufen, ist er okay. Well, clean.
Clean, guys, yes.
Yep. Clean. Yep. Clean. Yep. Straight to it. Now you're good. Very nice. Well done.
I don't think they ever wanted to save the shooter there, so really nice shot from Mark Kennedy. Jacobs continuing to lie 3 without hammer here.
Good sweep, guys.
It's not really a great setup for Muskatewitz here.
No, you're going to have to move some yellow rocks as much as you don't really want to throw any kind of takeout. You got to at least try to sit at a minimum third and fourth.
Dick ist halb. 11 geht nicht, oder? 10 dick ist halb.
It doesn't look like they're throwing a ton of weight even still, so see what the overall plan is, but those two Ben Hebert stones in the top and back of the forefoot still looming large here. We're trying to move this one off of center towards that yellow stone that's in the top 8. And then try to roll behind their corner. So they make the yellow. Now can they get behind the corner? No, and that's not even going to stick in the house. So that's really unfortunate for Benny Cap. Just might have overthrew that a little bit.
Yeah, you had to. Just sticking the shooter was the most important part of that shot, really. So that's a big error there, unfortunately, for Benny Cap.
Kind of a roll choke. Ich weiß nicht, ob da mit 10 liegen ist.
Bitte?
So just a hit and roll, and you heard Mark say almost acting like a hit roll to choke so that they can't really use that corner guard.
Okay. Then I like that broom then. My first thought was minimum, but it's probably good. Okay.
Curl, curl, curl.
Schneller als 10 oder als 10.
Whoa, whoa. I'm trying to go spinner.
That under curls a little bit for Mark Kennedy, and now maybe a sign of life here for Muskatewitz.
Yeah, that's not what Mark would have been looking for. You never wanted to disturb that rock, and now you give Muskatewitz an opportunity to create a little pocket here and keep a corner guard in play as well. Right out of his hand, I think one of the sweepers said it was heavy, and Mark said, well, it also looked like he set that pretty good, and Mark always does that, but maybe even a little extra, so probably a combination, a little more weight and a little bit more set, and just ran really straight on him. Brett Gallant on it right out of his hand to curl it, and one of the best in the world, and still couldn't get it to come over enough.
Benny Cap trying to capitalize on the Mark Kennedy mistake. And does indeed create a pocket and rolls right to Frozen. That's really good from Benny Cap.
Yeah, I think it ended up good. I was afraid he was tapping it too far. You would probably, I think the call would have been to have that curl a little bit more, but I think it ended up being quite good. You just have to hope Brad Jacobs, if he perfectly noses this, that's why you would have liked it to curl a bit more so that the pocket was a little bit smaller and your shooter stayed kind of in between the two. Now if Brad were to nose this, you can't get his yellow out without killing your own red as well.
I think we nose it. Now the only thing is, which way do we come here, Mark? Is it safer to kind of hit it on this side, by the way?
Well, you're nosing it. So
no, I know, but I just...
You're not going to be far off nose enough that it matters.
Okay, so I think 11 and a half. An 11 and a half right there.
Okay.
I like that talk from Mark there. Brad was kind of saying, well, what turn do we play in case we do roll off a little bit on the nose? And Mark said, well, look, you're Brad Jacobs, man. You're going to be close enough to the nose. I don't think it matters a whole lot. Just a nice little way of giving your skip a confidence boost before they glide off to the hack.
Yeah, it's really smart, and it is what you need to hear sometimes, because your analytical skip brain goes, well, what if this happens, and what if this happens, and there starts to be too many questions. I remember when I played with Kathy Overton Clapham, I used to say, well, what if we do this, and she would say, well, you're not going to do that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, I won't.
Off we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Brett Gallant on this pretty much right out of the hand here.
Curl.
Now Ben Hebert trying to bring it over. That's two Brad Jacobs shots in a row where they've gotten on the sweeping a little too early and kicked the line out. never able to get it back. So now Mark Muskatewitz, this is looking really good.
Yeah, suddenly that goes from a really good situation for Brad Jacobs to a really bad one, and Brad taking responsibility there for, he thought maybe he was a little bit tight, so it was him who called them on, where in the last end it was him who was trying to get them to carve it sooner, and Mark Kennedy who was saying no. So just not moving quite as much as they're expecting it to, I think, in that spot.
Was ist, wenn wir hier einen Corner Freeze drauflegen? I thought if anything that coming, we haven't seen a lot of the outside so straight. Thought maybe that would hang a bit, but or curl a bit. Sorry.
I thought it would catch a little.
Kind of a aggressive call.
We're going to see a timeout here for Mark Muskatewitz.
Good toss. It's not a bad shot, right? No, at all.
So Coach Ryan Sherrard going to come out for a team talk. We'll listen in.
Hi, Mom. Hey, Jeff. Okay. Either freeze. We hadn't. I mean, roll is pretty risky. Straighter side, but the other side's so straight that I thought this could catch a little curl. We could freeze.
Und selbst dann spielt er den Hit and Roll auf seinen eigenen und dann kriegst du weiß nicht.
Vielleicht finde ich auch den Tap besser.
Freeze finde ich auch nicht schlecht. Freeze ist leichter Tap. Weil wenn wir Nase kommen, wir dürfen ja nie außen sein. Aber wenn wir hier kommen und ihn selbst eine halbe Steinbreite treffen, ich glaube, der perfekte ist, also ich glaube, wenn wir den Freeze spielen, also er kann ja gar nicht so indirekt kommen. Wir werden halt probieren, den Nase zu spielen, also leicht innen anlegen. Ja. Nee, ich glaube nicht. Weißer Center? Nee. Weißer Center?
So they're debating between the freeze and the hit and roll. The hit and roll is the more sort of obvious of the two, but if you ever roll it too far, you might leave Brad Jacobs a double to take the whole thing away from you again. So by playing the freeze, as long as you're somewhere close to the face of this yellow rock, you'll probably just see Brad Jacobs blast the top two and give Mark the draw for the second point. Either way, needing to be very precise, but it looks like they've landed on the freeze here.
Trying to get another one in the 4-foot area and maybe set himself up for two is Mark Muskatewitz. This is his first end number 4, trying to find his way back from that early 4-point deficit. Ooh, does that leave Brad a double?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's good. He raised his hand like he was happy, but this double is, it's thin, but it's definitely there.
What are we trying to hit here?
Well, you know Brad Jacobs will be relishing the chance to extinguish the flame of hope that maybe Mark Muskatewitz had there for a second. This is right in his wheelhouse, this type of shot. I don't even think it's that hard, to be honest with you.
Yeah, thin quarter, and they both fly.
I don't think you're ever worried about jamming that yellow. I think as long as you hit that top red right, you're going to be out of the house for fun, and then it'll be Muskatewitz hitting against 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm playing, yeah.
Seeing that?
No.
So that's unfortunate for Mark Muskatewitz. They took a timeout. They talked about the options. They really measured out where they wanted to put the broom and the angle they wanted to hit it, but Mark just a hair heavy, didn't really catch it in the right spot, and now Brad Jacobs has a chance to get rid of both Muskatewitz counters here. Final stone.
Clean! Curl! Straight! 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 Straight!
And just like that, lovely shot from Brad Jacobs. Gets both of them gone. And Mark Muskatewitz's mistake is punished. He will now have to hit against 3 to score 1. What a shot.
Hell of a shot.
Crowd here in the Sleeman Center liked that one, Chelsea.
The crowd loved it. Yeah, that was awesome. quiet wait hit for one here for Mark Muskatewitz.
Brad, you okay to get this? Rolls it all? I gotta pee.
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks.
In case anyone
Yeah,
was
thanks for
wondering.
keeping us updated,
Yeah,
Mark. Good
where
to
Mark
know.
Kennedy's about to disappear to.
So no mistake for Mark Muskatewitz, but the mistake was on his first, was set up for two. Great double from Brad Jacobs. Muskatewitz settles for one. Jacobs leads 5-3, and they will have the hammer in the fifth. We're going to take a 3-minute break. We'll see you back here after that.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts. It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits, seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And it's the choice of champions.
There's a place where the world's best curling not only lives, it rocks. Download the new Grand Slam of Curling app and live stream all the action. Get exclusive content, stats, merch, and more. Let's rock.
Peace of mind, confidence, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial education. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to make choices that fit their goals. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
Hello, curling fans. Welcome back inside the Sleeman Center here in Guelph, Ontario, home of the WFG Masters, the fourth event on the Grand Slam of Curling calendar. John Cullen here alongside Chelsea Carey for this men's quarterfinal matchup. Brad Jacobs against Mark Muskatewitz, and Brad Jacobs with a huge 4 in the first end has allowed him to keep the lead throughout the first half. They lead 5-3 and have the hammer here to start the fifth end. We'll see if they can get 2 points back here and restore their 4-point lead. And Chelsea, I think for Mark Muskatewitz, obviously, if they end up losing this game, they'll look back obviously on the 4, but they may look back on that fourth end as well. That was a really good opportunity to score 2, and unfortunately Mark just couldn't capitalize.
Yeah, it really was. And the thing with playing against a team like Jacobs that they did really well in the second and the third end is you're not going to get very many misses. So when you get them, you really need to capitalize on them. And for that, in that case, they did get a miss out of Brad Jacobs. And then, unfortunately for Mark, was just a little bit heavy on that freeze and left Brad a redemption shot, which you never want to leave him because he usually makes them, and he made no mistake on the double.
Yeah, really good shot from Brad, but probably shouldn't have been there for Mark Muskatewitz. Just a little unfortunate with his last. So we'll see how things play out in the second half of this game, but certainly Brad Jacobs would love to put a 2 on the board, as I said, and This is, again, a similar start to the third end that we saw coming this way, with all the play coming around the center thus far.
Top 8. Clean. Okay. Clean. Rip. Rip. Rip.
We can wait at still.
Curl. Clean. Clean.
Freezing. Wait's good.
Clean. Rip. Curl. Curl, Mark.
It's got a curl. It's got a curl.
Jacobs he owes the swear jar some money this morning.
Yes, yeah. I don't think, I think actually how it works with Grand Slam of Curling's new ownership is we give you money out of the jar if you swear.
Yeah, yeah, if it was up to Nick, that would for sure be what happens.
Yeah. Matt Dunstone making a tap for 2 in the fourth end. That's why you hear the Sleeman Center crowd giving some love. So Matt Dunstone will take a 2-point lead into the fourth end break in that game. And it's been nice, Chelsea, to see the crowds here at the Sleeman Center. You've played in a lot of slams over the years, and for whatever reason, the greater Toronto area, the slams don't tend to do that well, typically attendance-wise, when you get into the suburbs of Toronto and various cities we've played them in. But Guelph has been all about this event this week. You've seen lots of signage around town, tons of people in the arena. You can actually feel the excitement, and it's been really great because, as I said, in the past, the slams haven't always had this kind of attendance in a southern Ontario city.
Yeah, we've seen good attendance all year this year at the slams, which is awesome because, yeah, it sometimes was a challenge in the past, and the new ownership group and some of the cool stuff they're doing and a lot of promotion and all that kind of stuff, and it's great to see. And yeah, we've got a great crowd here today. I would say this morning, but I guess it's afternoon now.
Yeah, just. Yeah, you're good. Morning
close
still.
enough.
It's not like it's 2 p.m. or something.
No, and so yeah, and the crowd's been, not only is the arena fairly full, but they're loud and they're excited, and for the players, that's what you love. That's the fun part. And you know, historically, curling fans are super quiet and reserved and all that, and they're afraid to yell at the wrong time, and that came from people at the time, even the players, saying that that's what they wanted, and we don't want that now. The players want a fun atmosphere. They want everybody to be excited. They like the loud. They like, you know, the roar of the crowd, even if it's for another sheet. So I love to see that, and I'm sure it's giving me life in the booth. I'm sure it is doing the same for the players on the ice here. It's just one of those things that there's not a lot of better feelings than that in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah, no question about it. It's been really fun to be a part of up here in the booth, and as you said, I'm sure down on the ice, Brett Gallant just narrowly missing the double peel try, so we'll see if he can get it this time. Looks like they're just going for the single here. And again, it's a decent situation for Team Jacobs in the house. Not exactly the same as the fifth, but
not far off though, and I think conceptually pretty similar, where they don't really need to make the double peel yet because it's not a great setup for Mark Muskatewitz to make a play on his red. He can, but it's going to be a tough one. So for Team Jacobs, and again, it's a scoreboard play. You're not needing to take any extra risk here.
If he comes around on his first again, it looks like he's playing the exact same way he did before.
Yeah, looks like another high center maybe here for Benny Cap, although maybe they're going to play things differently. Brad Jacobs did end up with a shot for 2 last time they played a similar strategy, so it was a tough shot for 2, and he didn't make it, but it was still there.
I think his best shot would be if he just straight up.
No, it would be Brad's first.
So yeah, looks like another high guard here for Benny Cap. I was talking with Ryan Sherrard, and Mark Muskatewitz has had such a good season that he was telling me that in the German championships that are upcoming, if they win, they go to Worlds, but if they lose, whoever wins has to play them in a playoff to go to Worlds.
Yeah.
So they actually are going to get 2 chances at it based on how good they've been on tour this year.
And I know that happens in other countries too. I don't know if it was this year, but it used to be the case in Switzerland as well. If Silvana Tirzoni did not win, your prize for being the Swiss champion was a best of 5 or whatever it was against Silvana.
Yeah, some prize.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he did say it would be a best of 5 as well. Really, the only other German men's team of note is Sixten Totzig. And they've had some decent results on tour, but certainly not close to Mark Muskatewitz in the world rankings right now. I believe Sixten is somewhere in the 30s. So with Mark at number 9, they've been afforded that opportunity to earn a 5-game series in the event that they don't win the German championships. So we did see Benny Cap actually come around. I thought he was throwing another high center, but did stack another one into the house. But Brad Jacobs still lying 1 and 3 here.
Clean. Yep. Good.
So just the single peel for Mark Kennedy. And we'll see if Muskatewitz decides to bring the play into the house yet, or if he throws the guard back up. Does look like the guard going back up here.
You're worried if we make it and roll away that he has which double? Well, I'm thinking that he was thinking yellow spin off like all the way to the middle one spinning. So you keep your shooter there and roll that one to the back 8.
Yo-yo. Yo-yo.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Really good. Hey. Yep.
Johannes really trying to bring this one over here.
Bad guard. Oh.
They burn
Still
it?
can't get rid of them both.
I think so.
They actually had a burn earlier this year. The only loss they had this week, they lost because of a burnt stone. It was one of Mark's. So I don't know what's going on. They got to clean that up.
Yeah. Stop burning rocks.
Yeah.
Guys, how much of the
Or at least stop admitting it. It's one or the other.
One or the other. They need the Johnny Moe line call on Pat Simmons' last one. Don't burn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Say that again. Okay, board weight, half rock. Get the weight right. You guys manage it for me? Yeah.
So they're just trying to now hit this yellow one, which is wide open. This was the one that Mark was trying to guard because he knew if this rock was open, this shot was available for Brad Jacobs. They can poke this red out the side without disturbing their shot stone.
Curl. Whoa. Straight. Whoa. Clean. Yep. Hard breath. Hard breath. Come on, Brad. Hard breath. Hard breath. You gotta go, Brad. You gotta go.
Okay, that's not the rock I thought they were hitting, but did the job. They're lying 1, 3, 4.
I thought when I called curl, it was way out there. There's not a lot of distance left.
I don't think unhooking those hurts.
Yeah.
You could unhook them.
Yeah, the one thing that's working well for them is those rocks are a little bit hooked. They can't get at the shot
Yeah,
stone.
you went red and you hit the yellow.
Yeah, I hit them both.
Yeah.
If we hit just the 3 a little thinner, that leaves town. Life's great. But it's fine.
Nee, mit 10.
Good call. Nice to get a little break on those.
So I actually think that you were right.
Okay,
I don't think they were intending to hit that red.
Okay.
It just they got on the carve a little bit and they've kind of undercarved a few. So I think just trying to be a little bit more aggressive and we're a little too aggressive and worked out pretty well. But yeah, I do think they were. He ended up sort of hitting both of those rocks. I think he was trying to hit just the yellow.
Unleash, get straight. Oh, clean. Curl. Shots made.
Yeah.
Them hitting it early on this ice is, I'm finding to be almost dangerous.
Yeah, I heard Mark say to Brad, we have seen that a couple times. If you hit it early, it's not coming back.
Yeah, the carve is a great weapon, but it's really easy to overdo it. You have to be really patient with that, and that's what Mark is saying. If you just clean it most of the way down the sheet and then wait till the end to carve it, you're usually in pretty good shape. But they have underdone a few of them, so I can see why they were a little bit more aggressive with that one, but unfortunately a little too aggressive, although they pretty much got away with it as it turns out.
Actually trying to make a triple problem.
So Mark Muskatewitz, I think, is just trying to get rid of as many yellows as he can here. Oh, wow, there was room to get it by. I thought that was completely hooked. What a shot.
Only if you threw it that hard.
Yeah, no kidding. My goodness. Wow. Really nice shot from Mark Muskatewitz. Gets rid of 2 yellows, and they lie 2 here.
Okay, I'm just checking to see what this looks like. That's not
leave a double back for Brad Jacobs, but that might leave a double back after that for Mark Muskatewitz. He's just going to have to be careful not to jam it on the side.
I don't think so. Sliver low, yeah.
Roll
hey,
rock.
At the end of the day, nose isn't bad.
Pro side is certainly nose.
Right there?
Just give me a little more. Ja.
Auch immer bei meinen Steinen.
Ja, ich denke, weißt du, mit der Guard, da kannst du halt drüber
Ich würde einfach sagen, dass wir das nicht machen, dass der Spieler, der am Stein ist, von sich aus wechselt.
So the double on the menu for Brad Jacobs. We'll try to leave this in a spot where it doesn't give a double back. We'll see.
Shooter, anything, shooter!
Nope, that will leave a double back for Mark Muskatewitz.
Yes, but does it jam is the question.
Yes. Because if it doesn't, this will be a force. That red stone is just hanging on in the rings. You can see it on the left here on this replay. So nice shot from Brad Jacobs, but you're right, Chelsea, this might jam. Jam would be absolute disaster. I think if you hit it thin enough, you're okay.
I think you can not jam it, but it wants to jam, so you just have to be a bit careful. But I don't think you have any choice but to try it and just hope that you can make it without jamming it over there. I think, yeah, if you err on the thin side, like you almost want to hit this so thin your shooter's going to spill backwards towards the tee line in order to avoid jamming it. But it's definitely possible to make it without
It's a
jamming.
tough blank over here, the Cupsy, if he spins out.
And yeah, as Mark said, there's a way that you maybe give up the blank. It just kind of spins out. In any case, we'll see. Mark Muskatewitz not throwing a ton at this. Final stone double, trying to avoid the jam. He's got the double. Does he avoid the jam? He does. Really nice from Mark Muskatewitz.
Went underneath it, which was always probably the easier way to do it, but I wasn't sure if you could stick if you did it that way, but that's why he didn't throw it as hard. If you throw that any harder, your shooter spins up and out of there for fun. So really smart weight choice and knew exactly where he wanted to hit that.
We like this and we like the draw.
Yeah, been a really good game from Mark so far. So they are going to play the hit here. You might see a draw in another skip's hands, but I think you just could never bring in the risk of giving up 2 here. If you hit and roll out here or whatever, you only give up 1. It's not the end of the world. You don't want to give up 2 and surrender a tie. So just a hit, and you probably need a hair roll inside if you're Brad Jacobs.
Just clean! Clean!
Clean! Whoa! Curl! Curl! Clean!
Clean! Clean!
Clean!
Clean! Clean!
They like it, and indeed it gets that little inside roll. So another good force for Mark Muskatewitz, but they're going to need to get busy here in the 6th end. They will have the hammer when we come back.
Good control of the board.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on,
Every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance, pushing limits,
seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
So after the opening 4, Chelsea, it's been a little bit cagey since then. Just teams kind of trading ones, and we find ourselves in a 6-3 game. Brad Jacobs still probably pretty happy to be here, and for Mark Muskatewitz, I'm thinking in this 6th end, you really kind of have to sell out for 2 here. You're running out of time.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you need at least 2 here. Even 2 is still an uphill battle, but it keeps you in the game, keeps you on the sheet.
14-9. Make sure. Yep. Good throw, Ben.
So once again, Ben Hebert coming in the house. It's worked really well for Brad Jacobs thus far. And of course, you're up 3. It's always going to be the call. And we'll see the corner go up for Johannes Scheuel.
Really good. It was nice.
We'll see if they decide to split the corners again, Chelsea.
Yeah, I would imagine they would do the same thing that they did last time. They had a really good opportunity to get there too, and so if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep, no question.
Throw, I'd like to see it throw 12.
Well, they're actually going to try to chip it here.
Everybody get on the line. I'll get the
I'm not surprised. This, if you've tuned into any of the games that I've covered all week, I've talked about this a couple times. I love the no-tick rule. I think it makes a ton of sense. The only problem with it is that the corner guard tick is an easier shot than the center guard tick, and the no-tick rule doesn't address that. So I just think they need to do something, because this shot, you could hit this, you could throw almost like solid hack to bumper and hit it anywhere high, and it's a good result. And Ben's going to make a fool out of me, of course, by missing it, but it doesn't get missed very often. You see it in mixed doubles all the time as well, and I just think that if you're going to solve one tick, you need to solve both ticks, especially because what the 5-rock rule did to me was put the advantage back in the hands of the team with the hammer. You get 2 free guards whether you have the hammer or not, where in the 4-rock free guard zone, if you had the hammer, you only got 1 guard before they could hit it. So it did that, but then by allowing the team without the hammer to play those center guard tick, like not play the center guard ticks, and then the other team to be able to throw the corner guard tick, it's redistributed the power in a way that I don't think is quite right.
Well, we have talked about, I believe it was you and me that discussed the box theory. Because I think part of the reason people have embraced the no-tick rule is it does bring in some skill to the lead position, where you have to hit the center line. The rock has to be touching the center line. And so, some people will say, well, you just make all ticks no good.
The no-touch zone, but then no precision's required.
Exactly. Then the lead can just put the guard kind of anywhere close and you can't touch it. And so we did talk about maybe putting up some corner guard boxes, maybe getting it sponsored by a pizza company. I don't know. We're workshopping up here, but the CEO of the curling group, Nick Sulsky, is standing right beside me, and if he does use this idea, I will expect a percentage.
Setting yourself up for royalties.
That did pick,
Yeah, I mean, just think about it, right? You've got like the Domino's pizza box up on the corner guards. The red rocks look like little pepperonis. The possibilities are endless.
It's gonna be a tripping hazard, like the Tim Hortons cup at the Briar.
100%.
Throw a red rock in that cup, and then everybody's in danger of tripping over it for the rest of the end.
Yeah, no question.
Better than pick this
So
up
with
there.
Benny missing that corner guard tick, we do see two corner guards up split. And we see the choke from Brett Gallant. We did see that out of Brad Guzhu yesterday, too. Him and Brendan actually had a short discussion about it. It seemed very clear that Brendan liked the choke. And, you talked about the men's teams preferring it in general, but I think we all think of Brendan as one of the top strategists in the game. And if he's a guy who likes the corner guard choke, then I think I probably like it too. But this is interesting. We saw Muskatewitz do this earlier in the week when I was calling their games, where they played this draw way out into the wings and made it. A really good shot from Felix Messenziel.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes on arena ice, you don't want to put yourself in a position to have to throw that shot because there's a whole bunch of frost out wide, and it's a complete guess at the speed. We haven't seen that here this week at all, so it is available to you, and I think really smart of Team Muskatewitz to use that.
So Brett will make the peel. Probably see at least one more corner here, I think.
Right?
Yep.
It's okay. Almost go down. Oh, little airplane.
In the other games happening in the Sleeman Center this afternoon, it is Bruce Mowat out to a 5-2 lead over Yannick Schwaller. Benoit Schwartz Van Berkel had a very tough shot for 2, did not come off in the 5th, and so Bruce Mowat is leading by 3 with Hammer in the 6th. So that is looking like Bruce is getting ever closer to the semifinals. Beside them, Ross White, 4-1 leaders over Nicholas Adine. Adine has the Hammer. They're also playing 6. And Matt Dunstone and Corey Dropkin is still 4-2. Dropkin with the Hammer playing 5. All of those games available on Home Team Live or on Around the Rings coverage if you're in Canada on sportsnet.ca or Sportsnet Plus.
You got to hit 2/3, Mark.
Okay.
I'm just calling for you to make this double.
Okay.
If we get lucky here, that's good.
Right through my double.
So I guess Chelsea, they figure that Yellowstone in the top 12 is not really helping them any.
Yeah, no, it's basically a guard, right, for that red behind it, so you don't mind losing it. And if you ever got lucky and clipped that red, it would be great, but they don't mind just straight losing that yellow as well. It's essentially a second corner guard here.
Clean, yep. Yes! Hard!
Got 1, got 2. Do not get the 3rd, but open up that red one at the back of the 8-foot, and that's, I guess, the downside of the choke. Obviously, it is a tough shot to go out in the wings and go around everything, but like you said, Chelsea, as soon as they make that shot, that wide draw, now that choke rock becomes a guard.
Absolutely, and I don't think you see a lot of teams go around wide, so I think when you're playing the choke, you're assuming that's not going to happen, and then in walks Mark Muskatewitz and says, oh yeah, watch this.
No problem. Yeah, it's the second time this week. This is the second Muskatewitz game I've covered. Both times it was Felix Messenziel going out into the weeds, and both times he made the shot. So you have to think it's something they're used to, or at least they practice a little bit. They know that that's a potential strategy they'll use when the teams choke it off. And I wonder if we'll see other teams watching Muskatewitz tape, or, you know, just, I know with all these games streaming, a lot of the teams go back and review their own games. I wonder if that will have them rethinking the choke a little bit if teams start to play a little more aggressively like that. That's a pretty good spot there, I think, for Benny Cap, although maybe the double is here off of their own yellow. I'm not sure.
Awesome.
I think it's only
thinking
half buried or so, so you could for sure chase it if you wanted to. Even a little less. Like to curl a little bit more, but at least the guard's in your vision.
What, Ben?
Huh? I like this shot. This is the shot.
I mean, he's got a deuce.
Okay, 12.5.
Yeah, I think the discussion, Chelsea, was whether you wanted to chase that double. You could redirect your own yellow onto the red on the right and then roll your shooter onto the one on the left. Of course, if you miss that, it brings 3 into play, but Mark was concerned that as of right now, Muskatewitz is looking pretty good for 2. But I think you're probably okay giving up 2 here if you're Team Jacobs. You just don't want to give up 3.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say you're okay giving up 2, but you're really not okay giving up 3.
Yes,
so
fair.
I think at this point, given a couple slight mistakes, you kind of take your medicine and just make sure it isn't more than 2.
Clean.
And that's assuming that all the rest of the shots still get made, where Muskatewitz in no way is guaranteed to at this point, but he is set up pretty well for it right now.
Whoa! Curl! No. Sit. Pretty good. Very nice.
It's good. Good sweep, guys. Sorry about my first one.
Roll erstmal vor den Gelben.
Shot, Mark.
Good call, man. Good call. I don't
9.
know. Sorry about my first one.
That's okay.
It was a little soft on release. I knew it right away.
2 Gelbe liegen.
Thanks.
Bitte?
Ich weiß noch nicht, ob wir dann den linken noch ins Spiel bekommen.
Über den Nase spielen, der ist schon sehr, sehr dünn.
Good call.
9.
Yeah, easy
It's
call,
good.
Mark. Clean.
He's
Okay.
graduating.
He taps this on the nose.
So they're trying to create a pocket here.
Looks like it.
Auf 8 tappen mit Verlängerungen.
Back 4, back 8.
Double might be there.
Try to get to the nose of that
He's still gonna have a
higher yellow and move it kind of even with the other one.
further back up.
So Corey Dropkin making a hit against 4 Matt Dunstone counters, does make it, so it will be 1 for Corey Dropkin. Matt Dunstone leads 4-3 with the hammer. They're about to start the 6th end. We will be back with the women's quarterfinals as well at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, noon Pacific. A lot of great matchups on the docket there. We'll be covering 2 of them here on Home Team Live. Sportsnet will have the Around the Rings coverage again.
Hold on a second here.
Not seeing much else. The only other shot is this. You rip it, he lobs one in there. It's still tough to get one out. Yeah. Through a board waiter here. I don't see it doing much cups. Kind of right where you have to hit it, I think, right here.
Double here, Chels?
Looks like it.
It's pretty thin.
Quarter will do it. Quarter would be better.
Yeah, quarter makes it.
The one we played 2 ends ago.
Thin quarter, maybe stick your shooter. But won't be too concerned, I don't think, about sticking the shooter. Just make sure they go away.
Ja, nee, ich meine, falls er aber kalt, dann kann er sogar an Gelben noch hängen bleiben, zumindest beim bis zum Paket auch. Die Alternative wäre nur gewesen, den perfekten Hit and Roll damit.
First stone for Brad Jacobs in the 6th.
Whoa! Whoa! Yep, whoa!
Looking for the thin double.
Curl!
Just gets it. Wow, that was an inch away from missing that red stone and a lot of trouble. Look at this replay.
They were curling that for a piece.
Just catches both. Yeah, he almost missed both of them, Chelsea.
Yeah, if he flashes that, he hits one of his back ones. It's a total disaster.
It's just hard to take less than that.
Oof, really close. You can hear Mark and Brad talking. I think they've just been surprised at how straight it is with that up weight. And getting fooled by it again there.
Tighter, and I just know where I need to place it.
Yeah.
Because if the broom's ever like max broom on a shot like that, you're softing. Well, yeah, if I kick out at it and now I got a soft one,
so the freeze now, this is what Mark Muskatewitz was working all end to do. Has to make this one good though.
You do make it good, though I don't think it'll go anywhere. So opportunity to probably force Brad Jacobs into some kind of either nose or freeze or something himself if he doesn't think he can squirt it.
Johannes trying to bring this one over. This looks like a lot of weight. Oh boy, that's really too bad. This has been the story. Mark Muskatewitz has made some excellent shots, but when he has had the chance to really put the pressure on Brad Jacobs, he just hasn't been able to find that last rock. And this is going to be an easy force here for Brad Jacobs. And the clock ticking is starting to get quite a bit louder here for the Germans.
Like light crap. Nose is great. Little roll Brett's way is great. That's probably a little bit on the max side for 10.5. Would you agree?
So for Brad Jacobs, you just make this one go away and you will have the force.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, clean. Curl, Ben.
Go ahead, Ben.
Curl, Benny.
Go ahead.
Curl. You're right on the nose, guys. You're right on the nose. Good shot.
So that's exactly where he wanted to hit it, and Mark Muskatewitz will have to hit it back for one.
Could be a blank there? I don't know. That'd be tough. I don't really see it.
The stuff we're having to make to force these guys is crazy.
Final stone for Mark Muskatewitz in the 6th end, hitting against 3.
Yep.
Schoyle on this right out of the hand.
Hard.
Can't roll too far here. And really nice sweep from Johannes. So one will go on the board, but Brad Jacobs will take a 2-point lead and the hammer into 7.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
Well, it'll be a long way back here for Mark Muskatewitz. Just got that 2 in the second end, has had his opportunities in 4 and 6 with the hammer, but got forced both times, and now is really starting to run out of time. And if Brad Jacobs can put 2 on the board here, you'd imagine that's game over. I mean, it's still probably game over if they put 1 on the board, but Muskatewitz will play the 8th end if they only get 1 here.
Line's good, a little bit of curl. A little bit of finish would be great. Yep.
And you can't say, Chelsea, that Muskatewitz has been without their chances. They've had opportunities in both the 4 and the 6 to put more points on the board than they did.
Yeah, Mark Muskatewitz, outside of those 2 shots, has had his draw weight so well, but 2 great opportunities with freezes in both 4 and 6. And both times heavy by a fair margin. So just struggling when the opportunity is there to get the weight right on those freeze attempts.
So we will be back in just over 2 hours time, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. We will have Team Isabella Vrano against Team Carrie Einarson, and Team Homan versus Team Silvana Tiranzoni as our 2 feature games. And then we'll also have Anna Hasselborg and Momoha Tabata and Eunjung Kim against Satsuki Fujisawa. So it's going to be a great afternoon here. Great women's quarterfinals shaping up.
Line's good.
You won't want to miss those. I think Sportsnet will have Around the Rings coverage again too, so you'll get a little taste of everything, both on Sportsnet and here on Home Team Live.
Keep her going. Keep her going. You got it. Keep her going. Keep her going. You got it. Keep her going. Yep.
Little surprised maybe to not see Muskatewitz throw the double center, Chelsea?
I am, yeah. I question that decision. I think he had to there.
Go, Benny.
Yeah, really for Muskatewitz, your best chance of winning this game is steal, steal, steal. Steal 7, steal 8, steal extra. I don't think if you give up any points to Brad Jacobs here, you're going to feel too good about your chances.
Yeah, I mean, getting 3 and stealing 1 against Jacobs probably aren't all that different from each other, but it can't be more than 1, and a double center seems like a steal play, but it's actually more a force play than anything else, and a steal is a bonus. So definitely surprised that they didn't throw the second guard. They're doing it now.
Yeah, so maybe just wanted to get that one in the house earlier and then throw up the double center.
Like giving out a goal.
I'll turn here high, throw it hard.
I like your route.
So this time they are going to take on the double peel.
Shouldn't do much.
This one will be coming with some pace from Brett Gallant.
Colton Lott just made a phenomenal shot that the Sleeman Center crowd is very much enjoying here.
Sorry, I was trying to help you. Shot, Brett.
Great shot by Brett Gallant on our sheet as well.
Yeah.
Bad time for the crowd celebration.
Yeah, sometimes when the crowd explodes in your mid-shot, you can't really hear the sweeping calls. But Brett Gallant still making the double peel. And we may see our first final here as Bruce Mowat has a double for 3. And guess what? He made it. And indeed, that will be the first final out here at the Sleeman Center. Bruce Mowat has won a game at a slam. How many times have we said that this year? Keeps his drive for 4 alive. No one has ever won 4 consecutive slams. Bruce Mowat will have the chance to do it. They're off to the semis. 8-2 winners over Yannick Schwaller. And I do believe the way the playoff bracket is set up, Bruce Mowat would play Brad Jacobs or Mark Muskatewitz, whoever wins this game. So what a prize. You win this game and you get to play Bruce Mowat in the semifinals.
Okay, good.
When for Jacobs, the #1 seed, you know, normally the way Bruce Mowat's been playing these slams, he's usually the #1 or 2 seed. You don't face him until the finals. And so having to go up against him in the semis is not ideal here for Brad Jacobs.
Yeah, Brad Jacobs is gonna maybe have a little powwow with Nicholas Edin and give him some grief about beating Bruce in the round robin.
Yeah.
Auf die Center.
Kopf, wenn's geht, Jojo.
Schaut sehr tief aus.
Boys, are we peeling out here? Oh, I think so too, eh?
Da kam jetzt vielleicht auch über eine
Hey guys,
schnellere
let's hit half here.
Ja.
Clean. Just clean. Good throw, Mark.
No peel there for Mark Kennedy. We'll see how long Mark Muskatewitz decides to keep throwing guards up.
2. 1,5 bis 2.
Yeah.
Anderthalb bis 2 lang. Hey. Jojo.
Howdy, Jojo.
So another guard for Benny Cap here.
He's wrapping, right?
And so Mark Kennedy saying he thinks that if they peel this guard, you will see Mark Muskatewitz try to draw around everything here. I think they're fine with that, especially with where that Ben Hebert rock is, partially biting the button. Not a ton of room there for Mark Muskatewitz.
No, and that's absolutely what's going to happen. Mark Muskatewitz doesn't have much choice but to draw around it, but you're never going to throw a draw if you're Brad Jacobs, so this is the only option. You peel this and let him try to make it. Like you say, he has basically a postage stamp to try to put it on, and even if he does, I think you're always going to be able to chase it. So definitely stick with the peels for Team Jacobs. That's the right call. And now we're going to see if Muskatewitz, he made this really almost perfect on his first one a few ends ago and then quite perfect on his second one.
I was wondering if they were serving booze back there yet. No, maybe in about 20 minutes.
I think Mark Kennedy just got offered a beer from the fans in the Jackpot City Lounge from the sounds of things. And he said, oh, maybe in 20 minutes. They don't play till tonight, so...
Well, he's lying because Mark actually doesn't drink, so
yes,
they're offering it to the wrong person.
Yeah,
but you might be able to talk cups into it. You'd have a chance with him, at least.
Hard to do anything, really.
Yeah, usually you don't have to talk cups into a beer, generally speaking.
You might have to before a semifinal.
That's true. That is true for sure, yes.
Yeah. Oh, no, I am. Yeah.
So team talk here for Muskatewitz, and I think it's kind of what I was saying, Chelsea. It's not quite the same setup as the fifth end where they could kind of come around everything, or the third end actually, when they could have kind of, just come around everything. The way the rocks are lined up, like there's really not a ton of real estate to draw to here.
Well, and I think the problem is, even if you made it perfect, if Brad Jacobs hits that yellow on the nose, I think he could kill both reds. So you wonder if you throw something like that yourself, some kind of tap or hit or something on, and to change those angles up a little bit.
Yeah, that's also a great point. You could make the absolute pistol draw, and then it's gone for fun, and you're giving up 3.
Yeah, and your other red could go as well. So yeah, it's the angles are too good for Team Jacobs right now.
Nase muss schnell kommen, ja. Dass der hier rollt.
We can see what he does.
Sollen wir schnell spielen? Ja. Ja, eben. Muss erst mal spielen.
I think we're going to get prepped to maybe hear some noise from the Sleeman Center. Matt Dunstone has a draw to hit paint 4-2 against Corey Dropkin.
We're really only giving the double a go, I think, on your first one.
Yep, you bet.
If we're giving it a go.
Yep. Otherwise, we're just okay with taking our point.
Nothing crazy on your last one, I think.
And Dunstone will make no mistake, so he's going to take a 6-3 lead into the 7th. And now we are going to see, actually, Mark Muskatewitz is playing a ton of weight at this. He's just going to try to get rid of both yellows and stick his shooter in an attempt to maybe force here.
Yeah, you're not stealing now, so I think this is probably a smart play. They need that yellow to get out of there a little more.
Okay. Oh, we got to look at all these, I think.
Ooh, yeah, I think red is 1.
Yeah, it looks like yellow might be second to me, but it's really close.
I think this is over that.
Yes,
and this is shot.
Oh, good. It's good to know the players are agreeing with us. Our camera's not always giving us the best angle. They're not directly above the pin, so.
Looks like we're almost half the blue here. See if those are close. I think yellow's second, Brett. Take a look.
So we got lots of time here. Team Jacobs over 8 minutes and both timeouts, so they can afford to take a good look at this.
Most teams have one person who they sort of trust for this stuff. In this case, it's the guy with the youngest eyes on the sheet.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you can't blame them for either.
Yeah.
Little board weight.
It's close. Yeah, board weight.
I think it probably doesn't change the shot for them right now too much.
No.
Just going to play board weight, try not to jam on their own while getting the maximum amount of roll towards that red possible. You want to make sure you stay for shot, I think.
11-8.
Yeah, you want to be shot for sure, or else you'll see Mark Muskatewitz probably hit the wide one, and then you're forced. But
we can hit half a rock with board. I think we're great in the ballpark.
Yeah, you do have some. You'd have to hit that pretty thin to jam it. It's certainly possible, but you'd probably be rolling out anyway. So this shot is there for Brad. He's thinking kind of a board weight, so somewhere in the 11.5 range.
Yeah, give me an inch less. Yeah.
First rock for Brad Jacobs here in the 7th end.
Clean. Yep. 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 Clean. 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 Whoa. 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 Curl. Curl. Clean. Clean. Straight. Yep.
Easy. Easy.
Back
Easy.
red.
Easy. Easy. Easy.
Back.
Yep.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yep. A little bit. Get a little spin there. Little spin. Little spin. Good. Good.
And I think that does stick for shot. Yes, it does. So really good from Brad Jacobs.
As good as you can do, man. Very good.
Yeah, I think so too.
That was hard to roll.
Definitely, that's a perfect spot because it's just barely still shot and it is partially buried behind that guard. So any attempt at a chase is just asking for a jam. Yeah, I think you have to draw around this if you're Mark Muskatewitz.
Great shot.
Yeah, and if you miss the draw, you're giving up 2 and it might be 3. So
even if you make it, he's trying a chase. He might be doing that anyways, but I don't think you have much of a choice.
No, they can't get under it for sure.
Ein bisschen tiefer. Ich glaube, genau hier hin, dass es schon schwer wird, den drüber zu bekommen. Genau auf der... Jetzt sehr gut geteilt hat bei dir im Training.
Keep an eye on this one anyway. See if there's any curl over the line.
I kept taking
ziemlich gegen Curl im Training beim Benny.
And then it curled.
I remember.
Ich überlege, ob es Minimum Eis ist. Eigentlich ist das Wichtigste, dass wir drum rumkommen. Lieber switchen noch ein bisschen früher. Teil dir von dem Eis? Okay. Läuft auch gut, oder?
Mark Muskatewitz trying to keep his narrow hopes alive here in this game. Has to make a very difficult draw around everything, and it still might not be enough. His final stone here in 7.
Sehr aktiv. Aktiv, Jungs. Bin ihr gut? Nur lange. Klaus. Bin ihr gut? Okay, bin ihr gut? So.
All right, then done.
This looks a little hot.
Hard, Mark.
Wow, just stops in time.
It's as good as you could make that shot.
Really good from Mark Muskatewitz. I think Brad's trying to see if he can chase it on the outside. I don't know.
You want to be up 3 here?
Yeah, the question is, do you try it for 2 and risk giving up a steal, or 2 or 3, and risk giving up a steal? Because I do think it's possible to chase that and tap it far enough. Or do you just draw for 1 and be happy with that?
Absolute beauty.
That's a good shot.
Brad said
really,
that's an
really
absolute beauty.
No.
No, the only thing where you can play the board waiter and roll in. No. You get it?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at too. You could hit your own and try to spin them both in the shooter and the run rock.
14-3.
Coach Paul Webster not here this week in Guelph. Jeff Stoughton, the Curling Canada coach and also legend, is on the bench but not coming out for the timeout.
I think he made a good shot.
Yeah, I'm seeing this with like a board. Yeah.
Okay.
Get to the nose.
He's going to try the wide
you're
chase.
playing.
Oh, just for 2.
That one. Well, as long as we're second shot, it's still a little bit up in the air.
I think we're second shot.
Okay. I thought this shot actually looked easier.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's what the one I was seeing.
Well,
I think we play to the nose.
Let's pick
2.
one then. Okay.
We play to the nose.
That's what you're playing? Okay.
Okay, so
Both are there.
yeah.
Thinking right there.
So he's just going to hit this one right on the nose, right straight back onto that red one, and thinking that the yellow on the right, as you're looking at it, is out counting the red on the left, not the one they're hitting. This is a little finicky here, Chelsea. This is not an easy shot.
No, it's not. But as long as your weight's close, I think even if you touch the other red, you probably end up at least getting your 1 out of it. So. And this is what Brad Jacobs saw. Like, to me, the other one looks easier. I agree with Mark. The kind of half rocker with sort of a heavy bumper or something like that. But Brad Jacobs sees this one much more. He was quite adamant about it. So then you got to let him throw it. Especially a guy like Brad Jacobs. He doesn't miss much when he's feeling this confident about something.
Yep.
So final stone for Brad Jacobs, trying to make it the final stone of the game. Nose hit with bumper for 2. Does he get by that red one? Oh, just really, really close. Doesn't quite come off, but he does get the 1. So Brad Jacobs will lead by 3, and Mark Muskatewitz will try his best to come back right after this.
It did look like it was curling. I like the call.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mice, eat locally, enjoy casual.
Perfect. Oh, you can clean it. Clean it if you can. 14-5. Yep.
Well, Chelsea, as a lifetime skip, I'm sure you can sympathize with Mark Muskatewitz when you're making those unbelievable draws to basically a postage stamp, and it's really just to hold your opponent to 1 in a game you're losing by 3. Unfortunate, but it was a great shot.
Yeah, it's never fun, but you got to make those to keep yourself in it, and you can't love your chances 3 down. But stranger things have for sure happened. So if he doesn't make that, the game's over. So good for Mark Muskatewitz. Could not have made that any better. That was a really hard shot, and put it absolutely perfect in there. And then still an opportunity for Brad Jacobs. If that last rock curls any more, he gets 2 out of it probably. But still got away with his 1, which it was a key for them.
So we are going to see another attempt at the corner guard tick.
Keep going. Head down.
Trying to smoke this into the rings here.
Close. Real close. Get her back there, boys.
Needs to stop. That's really good from Ben Hebert.
Good shot.
12-1. There you go.
Little light, eh?
I think their chances for 3 have now significantly diminished.
Yes, that is absolutely true. But it's a rock in the house you can guard, and you need to throw a corner guard anyway. So
12-1.
You're going to need a lot of help from Brad Jacobs now after that corner guard tick. Which, again, is exactly why I wish we could make a rule that limits the power of that shot.
Yeah. Again, we can always draw one here if he's perfect. Oh, I know, me too.
So nice shot there from Johannes Scheuel. He's had a really good game here this afternoon.
We just got 6 peels now, boys.
Kind of weight you like?
Yeah, didn't
Normal?
quite get enough curl on that, but they didn't want to sweep it because it was all there for weight. But there is a... Brett's probably got a good half of this, I would think, from the hack, that he can just pick it out of there clean. You don't care about sticking. You don't even want to stick. If you could, you would still try to roll out. So
little heavy.
Just get rid of it.
Little heavy. Go ahead.
Ben Hebert on the curl right out of the hands. And that will get the job done. So nice shot there from Brett Gallant.
Attaboy, Ben.
Little heavy. Good shot. 8-5. Very good, though.
Now going to get split corners up here for Felix Messenziel.
You got through a month for it.
Over on sheet C, Nicholas Edin making a hit for 1. And so Ross White will take a 2-point lead and the hammer into 8. Looking pretty good to make the semifinals is Ross White. Pulling off the rare feat this week, their LSD was 0. Don't see that too often at these events.
Curl.
Curl. You do get to throw 1 away, but still, that's incredibly impressive.
Just a straight peel there for Brett Gallant. Again, we will be back with you in about 2 hours' time. We'll have Team Anderson against Team Vrano and Team Homan against Team Tiranzoni. Live with commentary here on Home Team. And again, a friendly reminder, Grand Slam of Karaoke goes tonight at the Delta Conference Center, just about 7 minutes up the road from the Sleeman Center. Shuttle buses available from Sleeman Center to get you there safely. Tickets are available if you're in the building at the Rock Shop in advance, or you can get them at the door tonight. Winner will take home the GSOK belt and $2,500. You will not want to miss it.
I'm seeing the same shot.
I'm hearing there's already 7 curlers signed up to perform, or groups. Who knows? Sometimes it's individuals, sometimes it's groups. And they're maybe expecting a couple more performances as well. So it's going to be a really fun night. You do not want to not be there. Another peel here for Mark Kennedy.
Clean.
Clean. Nice.
And peel made, and for Mark Muskatewitz, really starting to run out of time here.
Yeah, you need a flash, and it's not mathematically impossible, but I just don't see it happening the way that Team Jacobs is rolling right now. That would be a major miss out of any of them. So, and even then, it's not even looking that good.
It's no guarantee, even if you get the flash.
You need a flash to have any hope, and you heard Mark Kennedy say that after Ben made that tick into the house. Okay, boys, now we just got 6 peels. Just don't flash one, and then you win the game. So Mark Muskatewitz looking for a little bit of a miracle here.
Yep. In turn on that corner. Yeah.
Okay, clean.
Looks like they are going to come in the house here with Benny Caps first. They don't have to. They could try to make the last 3 rocks of the end score, but this is perhaps a little more prudent. This looks heavy, though.
Sure does.
Needs to stop in the house, or this is pretty much over. Okay, so it will stop. And we'll just see the straight peel once again for Mark Kennedy. Peel number 4 of 6.
Yep, clean. Yep, yep,
clean, guys. Just
yep.
clean. Just clean.
Clean. Good.
And
Good
that's
throw.
made.
Yeah, thanks. Attaboy, Mark. Thanks.
I have to say, Chelsea, you know, I think part of the reason Brad Jacobs and his team chose Mark Muskatewitz is just because they are young. They don't know who they are. You heard him say, well, we play all the other teams at the Slam all the time. We want to play the new blood in this game. And I think it's fair to say, even though they probably are going to end up the winners here, they're not going to forget who Mark Muskatewitz is now.
No, I don't think so, and I don't think anybody else will either. You're going to be seeing these guys around for a long time, and they've just been so impressive this season. It really has been a true breakthrough season. They'll be around the Grand Slams in the future, and I imagine we'll see this matchup quite a few more times in the coming years.
Yeah, another great effort from them here today. It's only their 2nd ever Slam, and they've qualified for the playoffs in both, which you don't usually see happen for new teams. You always talk about the teams that are on the bubble and find their way into the Slams. You've got to get, beaten around a little bit. We've seen that with Rylan Kleider this year. He's been in 2 Slams, has only been able to manage 1 win. We saw Jordan McDonald here for the first time this week. They also went 1-3. It's not easy to be a new team in the Slams and to have success, and Muskatewitz bucking that trend a little bit here as they've made the quarterfinals in 2 straight, and I think they're going to be at the Players as well based on the year-to-date standings. I think it'd be pretty hard for them to fall out of the Players Championship picture. So to make your first ever Slam and then 3 months later make the Players Championship when the field gets pared down to 12, very impressive.
Very impressive for sure. There's nothing quite like that Players Championship. It's something really special, and getting to play in Toronto at the Mattamy Centre, the old Maple Leaf Gardens, is just a really cool experience. I remember the first time we played there, and I walked in and looked, and it's on the 3rd floor of what used to be the very top of the arena, but the roof is still the same. So you look up and you really get a little bit of a time warp kind of a sensation, and it's just so incredible. So they'll, I'm sure, enjoy that experience, and tickets I think went on sale for that actually. So if you're in the Toronto area in April, come join us for the Slam. It's for the Players Championship is always it's such a cool event. Hope to see everybody there.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time, and we know also coming up right after Toronto, the first ever TCG All-Star game heading down to the T-Line in Nashville. 12 curlers will be making their way down there. 8 will be selected by a panel of experts, and 4 will be selected by fan vote. You can head to the grandslamofcurling.com/all-star and vote for your favorite curler, and you'll have a chance to win a signed All-Star jersey. First ever time we've done an All-Star game here in curling. I know a lot of the curlers are looking forward to it. They've been talking about it this week, and I'm looking forward to it too. Should be another really fun and unique event on the Grand Slam of Curling calendar. So head on over to the grandslamofcurling.com/all-star and vote.
If he doesn't leave you an open hit. So it's a bit of a guess here. They haven't seen this much this game.
I'm going to try to put this somewhere where Brad Jacobs can't get to it. One more red rock removed, and it'll be handshakes here for Team Muskatewitz.
Close, clean. Oh! Okay. Nur Länge. Genau 10. Hinten 12. Yep. Oh, oh.
Trying to get around that yellow stone. It has to stay in the house, though.
Good shot.
And it will. And again here, Mark Kennedy say, dang, good shot.
Yeah, that's as good as he could have made it, I think.
Yeah, we've heard that a few times this game where Brad and Mark just saying to each other, like, geez.
Yeah.
Did a pretty good shot there. And it's hard when you're down 3 and you know you're probably going to lose. It can be hard to really get yourself in a mindset of, okay, I've got to make this draw to the back 12. It's so easy to miss those, but that's really well done. And so Brad Jacobs with his last does have a bit of a tricky shot here. It's a short run back. You'd expect him to make it, but has to throw it and has to make it. Final stone for Brad Jacobs here in the 8th.
Yep. Yep. Clean. Yep.
Brett Gallant on and out of the hand. There's a little bit of panic here. Do they have it? Yes, they do. Really good shot from Brad Jacobs. Gets both reds for fun. Really good game from Team Jacobs. Great game from Mark Muskatewitz as well. Brad Jacobs will move on to the semifinals to face Bruce Mowat. The other 2 games still out here are available on Home Team Live. We will also be back in about an hour and 45 minutes time with the women's quarterfinals. You won't want to miss that. For everyone here at Home Team, for Chelsea Carey, I've been John Cullen. Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.